Good day, everyone. I am James Cero Tapongot, and I'm here to discuss how to run a hotel. What can you do more fully engage your employees? Engaging your employees will be significant challenge. Hopefully, you recognize that the rewards make that effort worthwhile. Seeking to engage your employees actually begins when you develop your mission statement for your hotel, where you give an overall flavor of what type of work environment you intend to create. So we have the mission. Our customer, our priority, and we will provide them with a quality experience which is second to more. Recognize the importance of our employees in achieving this, and we will create the positive working environment which encourage their loyalty, commitment, and hard working. We strive to be excellent leaders, and we will undertake all our business activities in the honest and ethical manners to provide a fair return in our investment. So we have, you get a real sense from reading this sentence that management team do see their employees as stakeholders. Again, they are only words. What set this hotel apart is how these general intentions we translated into concrete goal to guide all their employee engagement efforts. Their goal were mission. We recognize the importance of our employees in achieving this, and we will create the positive working environment which encourage their loyalty, commitment, and hard working. The goal is to reduce employee turnover to 20% within 3 years, to achieve an average of 75% from employee engagement surveys. And lastly, to introduce the bonus scheme for all employees within 3 years. How does effective leadership help? It's critical to match leadership style to the state of engagement. Disengage. Number one is disengage. Number two is somewhat engaged. And last three, truly engage. How can you impact the culture in your hotel? Nobody can determine what culture is best in your hotel. That decision rests with you, and in any case, there is no right culture which fits every business, as it's unique to each enterprise. However, it should be clear that there are obvious pitfalls to avoid, such as creating a top-down culture or one where employees feel and undervalued. Three dimensions of work. The what. What are you trying to achieve in a hotel? Number two, what values are important to you in the way you can run the hotel? Number three, what 5 words could summarize those values? What is the one thing you would like to change about the culture in the hotel? What attracts people to come and work in your hotel? What makes people leave? What would your customers say about if you went out of business tomorrow? Why would they miss you? Lastly, what happens when you are not the hotel? Does the work get done at the same high standard as what you are in there? And there's the how. How would you describe the leadership styles at the hotel? Number two, how would you describe the nature and the style communication at the hotel, top-down or exclusive? Number three is how are decision made, problems solved at the hotel? Do you involve employees in the process? How are the failures dealt with? Are they seen as opportunities for punishment or learning? And how do you recognize and reward individual and collective success? Lastly, how quality achieved at the hotel? Is there a sense of ownership amongst employees, or do you have to drive everything? Who work for you? What type of people are they? Do you have stable team at the hotel, or is it constantly changing? Why? And why? Do you do do your employees really believe what you are doing? Are they proud to work at the hotel? How do your employees interact together? Are they committed to and supportive of each other? How diverse is your team? Do they respect each other? Do your employees individually and collectively make a contribution that meets your expectations? And lastly is, what is the most common feedback you receive from customers about your staff? Practical steps towards changing the culture of your hotel. Number one is, if you have developed your vision and mission, then that's the first thing you should do. If you already have your vision and mission, though they accurately describe the culture and values you want, are they reflective of where you want, and where you want the business to go in light, the content and we have covered? If not, redefine them to match the new reality. No matter where you were regard to your vision and mission, always involve your employees in the design or redefinition process. Consult with them. Get their ideas and opinions. Launch or relaunch your vision and mission to your primary stakeholders. Always be a role model of your culture, for the culture, and you're trying to create in a hotel, and particularly apply the leadership principles we have identified. Do not allow the other leaders or indeed any employees to act or behave in a way that does not mirror your preferred culture. Review all training programs which you may have at the hotel. Make sure that behaviors and attitudes reflective of your preferred culture and promoted during these sessions. What do you want employees to do? Knowing what it is you want your employees to do is fairly basic requirement, and most hotel now have defined job description in place for every position in the hotel. If you don't have them, you should address their weakness immediately. Don't assume that your employees are on the same wavelength as you when it comes to what their job involves and what results are expected. If you really have them, make sure that remain current and reflective of what requirement, and adjust them where necessary. What type of employees are you seeking? You can generally find out what candidate can you do by analyzing their CV or by looking at the past jobs they have held. When you compare to the job description, you can get the fair ideas as to whether they are right in the competence scenes for a particular job. Dimension of work based on the profile. Education, number one is education training qualifications. Number two is work experience. Number three is skills and knowledge. Number four is communication skills. Number five is personality or disposition. And lastly, your personal attributes. Selecting people as the part of the requirement process. Interviews. are by no means as a perfect way of truly learning about the candidate. They are even less effective when you don't have an ideal profile in mind. Think of an interview as being somewhat familiar to a fishing net, whereby badly run interviews leave major gaps with unsuitable candidates can get through, but when but even well run interviews held by experienced interviews only serve to make the hotels in the net smaller. You will get the caught out occasionally but less frequently. The golden rules of interviewing. Number one is nobody should interview candidates for jobs as your hotel without first having a training at that area. Number two is use your job description and employee profile to screen your CVs and only call the most suitable candidates for interview. Number three is ensure that that you prepare for interviews in advance. Number four is don't interview in public areas. Number five, interviews should always follow a plan. Incorporate incorporate the instructured question based on the relevant employee profile. Don't make your judgment too early. Use effective questions techniques, avoiding closed question, which enable candidates to give yes or no answers. Ensure that you follow the same question plan of all candidates. The majority of your questions should seek to draw out or to probe who the candidates is or not the only way that they can do. Don't interview too many candidates on the same day. Use a common rating scale. Providing clarity for employees. To engage employee to any level, you need to provide clarity for them about the hotel, their rule, and your expectations from them. Number one is an introduction to your hotel, your vision and mission, and the broader picture of what you are about. Number two is an explanation of what your expectation are of them in terms of their attitudes, behaviors, and commitment to the hotel. Lastly, is an introduction to their department. Part of this means ensuring that their job description is properly explained and relevant hygiene and safety points are covered.